Yo, what's up, everybody? Hey, welcome to another episode of KaneSaid. And y'all know this series what we're talking about, man. And y'all guys know my slogan, right? The fame is free, but the grind costs. Man, these episodes is based on individuals, entrepreneurs, owners who went through the grind and to get where they're going and to continue going where they're going. I got a special guest, man. He's my dog, man. You know what I mean? We got some years together. And I can't wait for you guys to hear his story, man. He's a man, man. Big dog, how you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
I can't complain, man. Tell the people who you are, man.
My name's Doug Kersey, and I'm a dentist here in LaGrange. I'm the owner of Kersey Dental, and I've been in business for 15 plus years now, and so I've known Kane a long time, so I just came to talk to him a little bit about what I do and how I got there and that kind of thing.
Man, most definitely, man. So listen, man, 15 years, man. So we got to get this story, man.
Right.
So tell us, man. First of all, how did this thought of you becoming a dentist, owning a practice, man? How did it come, man? Take him through the story, man. Give it to us.
Well, this started a long time ago when I was even back. Well, my story starts back in high school. Really, I always thought that I wanted to be a orthopedic surgeon from a long time.
What caused that? I mean, what caused you want to be that?
Well, when I played football. We had a team trainer that was he was at Houston Clinic. He was a doctor, Dr. Gudger, and he was always on the sideline. And I got injured,
right,
like everybody else. So I got to see the inner workings of Houston Clinic and what they did and that kind of thing. And so all along, that's kind of where my path was leading me, even maybe starting my sophomore year. And so that's really what I thought I wanted to do and I really was on that track. And so I graduated, went off to University of Georgia.
Okay.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Go in, baby. Go Dogs. Right.
And so I came from the small school in Woodbury, Georgia, Flint River Academy. So it was really, really small. And so when I went off to school, it was a big change for me. It was a big environment, and I walk into my what they call them, my pre-med advisor.
Okay.
And the first thing she said to me was, there's probably a fourth of the freshman class that wants to be pre-med, right?
Oh man.
And not many are gonna make it.
Okay.
Right.
So once she said that, man, what went through your head?
Well, it really didn't discourage me at that point because I thought, I do good in school and I'll, it's not gonna, get me off my path.
Right.
So then the first semester I took English 101, algebra, all these things. Well, I think I made 2 B's and a C.
Okay.
And so I walked back into her office for the next semester to get advised for my courses, and she said, "You're not gonna make it."
Uh-oh.
And so at that point I started having doubts about, maybe I'm not prepared for this, or maybe I'm not smart enough for this, and so I started thinking about maybe I should do something else, and so then I swapped my major to business, and because I thought, well, there are a lot of things I can do in business. I can take this anywhere, a lot of different directions. I went on through school, graduated in business, and my father was a banker, and I thought, well, I might get into banking, and my dad told me, you don't want to get into banking.
So he was like, look,
right.
I know it looked good, but it ain't really.
And the reason why he said that was because he said, when I started out, I felt like I could help people, I could loan money to people that I knew, and then it became so much about regulations that it just made it, there were a lot of hoops that they had to jump through.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, I got out, I worked for an insurance agency for a few years in sales, and that's just not.
Now, this is local.
This is in Noonan.
In Noonan. Okay.
And I'm just not a salesperson. I mean, that's just not what I was born to be, and it was just a struggle for me and I didn't enjoy it. And then, I'd wake up didn't want to go to, I didn't have that drive to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I really think that I would have kept down that path but my dad passed away that first year in April. I'd been there since September. He passed away in April of that next year.
Okay.
Just suddenly of a heart attack. And my dad and I were real close, and he was a mentor of mine, and it really just threw me for a loop.
I bet.
And so he was 50 years old. So I started thinking, I just did a lot of soul searching at that point. I thought I've got a long time to work, and I really need to be doing something I enjoy, because to get up every day and strive to be the best at what I do, I need to love it, right?
Bottom line.
And so my company was getting ready for the next year, making pre-planning for the next year.
Okay.
And I was close to my boss, and I told him, I said, I don't want you to include me on this plan because I just don't think this is what I want to do. Mm. And so I had a friend that was he owned a big landscape company in Noonan, and Rob Estes, who was he played a very important part in my life, and also just guiding me through that scenario, because he was a very successful businessman. I mean, he turned this business into a multi-million-dollar business.
Wow.
And I said, look, I just need somewhere to go to work.
Yeah.
And I need to think about what I want to do.
Okay.
And so he put me on a lawnmower. And I did that for 6 months, and I rode, and I just, I had a lot of time to think.
yeah. Hold on now, time out. So anytime while you think, you say, why am I on a lawnmower?
Right. Right. And I also saw how, that wasn't an easy job either.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it allowed me time to get, because I'm somewhat of an introvert anyway, and so I have to be alone with my thoughts to sort things out.
I'm with you on that.
And so I thought, I know what I wanted to do to start out with. I need to try to at least explore that path again.
Okay.
And when I did, I also started thinking about, do I want to go through 10 years of, school and residency and this and that? Do I want to start a family? Those kind of things. And so I said, let me do a little more research this time before I go down this path.
Right.
And so I shadowed orthopedic surgeons and general physicians and these kind of things. And I also, somebody told me, said, you ought to look into dentistry. And so I had a friend that let me come work with her a little bit to see what she did and that kind of thing.
Right.
And what I liked about it was I was able to work with my hands, very similar to what an orthopedic surgeon would do. There were normal hours. I thought more of a normal family life, not as much call and that kind of thing.
Right.
And so I really felt like it was a good fit for me. Mm-hmm. After that was the big challenge.
Okay.
Was that not only did I have to go to dental school, I had to go back and take basically 3 years of prerequisites.
Wow.
Which was because as a business major, I didn't have any biologies, chemistries, physics, all that. So I started second guessing myself again. I thought this is a long.
So, okay, so as far as numbers, how long? I guess when you were in school, I'm trying to ask.
Well, the first 4 years for undergrad, and then so I started second guessing myself, and I talked to a guy that I knew, older guy, in my hometown, and we were just talking about this whole process, and he said, "Look, how long is it going to take for you to go back and go to get your prereqs, go to dental school?" And I said, "Well, 2 or 3 years of prereqs, and then dental school's 4 years, so about 7 more years."
Wow.
And so he said, "What are you going to be doing here in 7 years if you don't go. And I said, I don't. Well, I don't. I might be sitting right here at this restaurant.
Yeah.
And he said, either you can do that, or you can be a dentist in 7 years.
Wow.
You know, and you're gonna look back on that time and think that went pretty, pretty quick, and it really did. In the end, it really did. So I went back, took all those prereq courses, applied for dental school. Didn't get in the first time because I was trying to bring grades up that I had not, from before.
Right.
Because it's pretty competitive to get in. Didn't get in the first time. Didn't get in the second time, which was 2 more years gone by.
Wow.
I had to go get jobs or work just to, make money.
Mm-hmm.
And
now the school is the same. You still at Georgia at this time?
I had already finished my prereqs. So I moved home. I moved in with my mother because she, and I drove down to Auburn and took the prereqs. And I had finished the prereqs, applied to dental school, and this is when I didn't get in 2 years in a row. Well, there were a lot of emotions in that.
I bet.
And like I went through all this.
Yeah.
And now what am I going to do?
Right.
And so when the third time I had my interview, and the guy told me, he said, if somebody that went through all this and you're still plugging at it, and you obviously, this is what you want to do, because they don't want people washing out.
Right.
If you're in, they're investing in you.
Yeah.
And he said, so that's when I got in at UAB in Birmingham. And so anyway, finished dental school.
Yeah.
At that point, I had to start trying to figure out where I wanted to go.
Okay.
And I knew, being from a small town, which I grew up in Manchester, I knew I needed to be in a town where I wanted to be somewhere a little bit bigger than that.
Okay.
But I didn't want to be in Atlanta or Birmingham or that kind of thing. So I started looking around at, Noonan, Rome, LaGrange, Macon, and I had a friend, Bill Honeycutt, who he's here in town. I knew him at Georgia, and I knew his dad was a dentist, and so I just called Bill up and I said, because I knew Dr. Pat was probably getting closer to retirement age, and I said, do you know if your dad is looking for somebody or if he's ready to sell? And he said, I don't know, but I'll give you his number and you can call him. So I met with him, and he said, well, I really don't want to sell my practice, but I've got a space in a suite in my office that you can move in. And he said, I'm really not taking, new patients, but I'll just send, if they call, I'll send them to you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we started, so we opened up. It was me and my wife, Ashley, and one other person. And so we started back there, and it was slow, but he and I had a lot of time to talk.
Now, let's talk about year.
Right.
Okay, what year was that? What year was that, you think?
That was 2006.
Okay.
So and when we got to know each other, just when we had downtime and that kind of thing, and then one day he just came over about a year later and said, I'm ready to sell my practice. You want to buy it? And within a week we came to an agreement.
Wow.
And I bought his practice. We consolidated everything. So still it was just me and Ashley and an assistant and a hygienist, and then so anyway, that's kind of where we started, and then so for the business perspective of this whole thing is I'm trained as a dentist, and I know how to work on teeth, and I know that part of it.
Right.
But I didn't know how to really
run stuff.
Now I was a business major, but I didn't know how to run a dental practice. There were a lot of trial and error in that. There was a lot. I did a lot of reading, and so what you're trying to do is copy really copy what other people are doing.
That's it.
And that was a struggle because, for one, I'm so focused on people and patients and trying to do this as well, you know. So my wife, though, Ashley, got real involved, and she was really the engine that drove that whole thing, right? And now she was the teacher, so she had to learn that whole process too. And we spent a lot of time making mistakes.
Right.
You know, we made mistakes, and just like, I mean, anybody that runs a business, I'm sure, when they start out. But over the years, we started figuring out the processes and that kind of thing. But the main point that I could get across to anybody wanting to start a business is processes are one thing. Okay. But I found over the years that people are
like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
They're the most important factor.
Okay.
If you find the right people, and you either teach them what to do, or either they know what to do and they can do their job, then you let them run with it. You know, you spend so much time trying to micromanage because you feel like that you've got a handle on what needs to be done. In reality, what happened to me was I ended up getting a little bit burnt out on the process because it was nonstop. I mean, we would go to work and we'd come home. We'd talk about it at home. You know, my children were little. You know, now I've got three. My kids are, Caroline's a sophomore, Hugh's in the 7th grade, and Mary Frances is in the 5th.
Okay.
So, but at that time they were all little bitty, and you know, like we've talked about before, you know, those are the times where you need to be a dad too, and you need to be at home. And so, I just came to this point where I was like, something's got to change on this. You know, I mean, I wasn't exercising, I wasn't eating right. You know, I said, so we've got to figure out how to do this in a different way. And so we rocked along for 10 plus years, and everything was, you know, it ran, and we were successful and that kind of thing. But we finally brought in a consultant a few years ago that really helped break the process down for me in terms of, and I thought he was coming in my mind to tell me how to do this, how to do that. The first thing he asked, some of the first questions he asked me, are you taking care of yourself? You know, because if you're not, you know, you can't run this business. You know, you can't be what you need to be for these patients. And so that's when I found you. Right. And I really started focusing on taking care of the whole me.
The whole you.
Right. And so, I like that, but back to people, I finally have people that in every position I have, that not only can I trust they're going to do the job, but they're going to do it better than I could have done, you know.
So, okay, I'm going to stop you right there now. I'm going to back you up a little bit. Okay, so when your wife decided to, you know what I'm saying, join your vision, because I always say this, Doug, and that, you know what I'm saying, when God gives us dreams and vision, he gives it to the individual.
Right.
But it's up to the individual to show their spouse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So so your wife had to see, you know what I'm saying? You did a heck of a good job for her to see, you know what I'm saying, where you want to go with this. Now, okay, so when she came on the board, how long, man, did it take for you to say, all right, Doug, step back and let her be her?
Well, I think at first it was necessity, you know, like it was not.
Okay.
However, I think she began to grow in terms of, you know, because she looked at herself, and she still looks at herself as I'm just a teacher, right? And I said, but really, this is what you're doing. You know, you are.
You're
a teacher, and you use those skills to empower everybody else, or motivate everybody else, or cast that vision for everybody else. And she's really taken that position, and now that she knows the business part of it, and she knows how to motivate people, and to keep them focused on the big picture, because that's where I struggle, in that I'm a big picture I can see the end product, I can see what I want. I'm not really good at implementing the vision, and so which she is. So she's the implementer. I mean, she takes what we talk about and what we see, because she knows what my vision is and what I want, and helping to translate that into action and what people do on a daily basis. But I think in order to find those people, you've got to spend a lot of time on the front end in the hiring process, find out who these, who is this person, and not just do they have the qualifications, what is their drive, what is their motivation, and is this something they wake up every day wanting to do?
Okay, so let's talk about the hiring process. Okay, so right now, how many employees you have right now, approximately?
7.
Okay, so let's talk about what goes into hiring. What's your strategy behind hiring someone?
Well, it's a several step process. I mean, it starts with first you either get resumes, and that you may get 200 resumes for a job, and you go through them, and there may be 20 that even on paper qualify. And then after that, a phone interview, and then that you narrow it down from that, and then it's in-person interview. And we've started doing panel interviews where we interview 2 or 3 at a time. But I think you get a lot out of that interview with them, with other people, and how they interact, and but we're trying to find out more about who that person is than about what they can do. You should be able to do the work, but how do you do the work?
How do you do it?
And so I think for the first time really in my career, I feel like I've got all the pieces. And then and that goes, that not only do you know how to do the work, how do you treat people? Customer service, because customer service is big, not only in if you own a Chick-fil-A, or people need to feel welcome, feel comfortable, and then they're going to trust you to do what you do at that point. But the service and the caring comes through in the end.
Right. So okay, so now, talk, man, as far as leadership, what I'm saying, what's your role, man, to man, I guess what you guys do, or what you and your wife do, to make sure that the wheel keeps rolling. As far as leadership, y'all do different type of stuff for that?
Well, we have a morning meeting every morning to talk about the day and what's going to happen that day. What are the needs of this person? What are they here for? What do they need to come back for? Are they nervous? Or, all that stuff should be documented in their chart, to where we know, hey, this person needs a little bit of extra attention or care because they're nervous, and which a lot of people are. But those personal tidbits about people make a big difference. So by that, we stay on the same page every day. So everybody knows the game plan for that day. It's just before you break the huddle, we're going to know what the play is.
I like that.
But we also, and it's been a little different throughout this COVID stuff, but we try to have a quarterly or actually monthly big meeting that we talk about more what's going right, what's going wrong, are we on track with our vision, are we hitting all the cylinders on that? And that usually keeps us focused on the big picture. And a lot of that is run by Ashley, and then Cindy, that is also a manager at my office. They work together to keep that, keep our eye on the ball on that. And so, because if you don't, things tend to slide and slip, and then all of a sudden you look back and say, how did we get here where?
How do we drop that ball somewhere?
Right. So that's how we try to do it.
I like that too. Okay, so with the like I was saying earlier, man, just by being a leader, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's next for your company? You know what I mean? You got something in mind, like, 5 years from now, man, I want to be this, I want to be that. What's next for your company?
I don't really know that. I think that right now we're so focused on just getting through this pandemic, and because we spent, we were locked down for 8 weeks.
Okay, let's talk about that. Yeah.
So March, let's say it was March 18th. I can't remember. That's when they had all the lockdowns. Well, the CDC and the CDC was saying no elective procedures, just only emergencies for dentists. But and so we essentially were closed till May, and I was just seeing emergencies, and we were trying to do a skeleton crew of who came in when and that kind of thing.
Right.
So that, along with that, came the challenge of are we keeping this place as safe as we can?
Right.
I mean, we got PPE, masks. We're trying to research all this stuff. How do we keep aerosols out of the air? How do we clean the air? How does the patient enter now? Do they stay in their car and they don't come in the waiting room? I mean, there were so many things that we're trying to adjust to and comply with what the recommendations were, so that we could make sure we were keeping people safe. And once we finally, that kind of planed out and we got comfortable with that and things, because in the beginning too, there was so much unknown that we didn't know. I mean, we may go in tomorrow and everybody get the virus. But what we found was that we could be safe, and people could be safe, and we do things the right way. And so from that point till now, we've just been trying to stay focused on all that. And hopefully now, with the vaccine coming out and that kind of thing, maybe things will start getting more back to normal. I don't think a lot of the things, I think we'll keep a lot of the things in the place forever now. I think a lot of these things were good changes to up our game on that, but I don't really know what the future holds. But I do know that there will be a time when the game plan changes. I may bring another dentist in working, but that. And all those thoughts are in the back of my head down the road. But
get through this doggone pandemic first. Okay, so let me ask you this now. Over the years, man, what had changed, you know what I'm saying, in what you do, for the industry, man? What has changed over the years that you've seen?
I think the biggest change in dentistry is technology's really creeping in more. There are a lot of things with whether from CT scans to 3D imaging to 3D printing to in-office milling to all these different things that is making dentistry either one more efficient or more precise, or I think it helps us do our job better. It's just trying to figure out what to implement when, and is it cost effective? Is it, or if it's not cost effective today, it probably will be in
few months, whatever,
few years, whatever. And so, and we have implemented a lot of those things, but we just take it one step at a time and try to figure out, what will make us do our job better now, and is it because you got to look at, you got to keep one eye on the patient and one eye on cost, and so you can't. I'd love to go out and buy that $100,000 piece of machinery, but when does it make sense?
Right.
And can I do my job at the best of my ability, which I can at where we're at now? But so those are the big changes. I don't think that. Well, I will say this: corporate or big corporations are getting more into dentistry. I mean, they're consolidating, buying up, older dentists, or as people retire, and so now a lot of places are run by corporations, and people just work there. I mean, you see it in other industries. I mean, you've seen it in medicine.
Right.
I think that will continue to go that direction.
Yeah. Man, look, let me tell you something, big dog. I don't know if it'll cross your mind, man. Typically, man, in a lot of business owners, you know what I'm saying, eventually, they will hope that their kids, like even my hope that their kids will eventually take over the practice. Has that crossed your mind? If you have, man.
It might have crossed my mind.
But not your kids. Right. Man, look.
Well, Carolina and Hugh said, I'm not doing that. I'm not,
already.
I'm not messing with somebody's mouth. But
they already said they ain't gonna do it.
But it's funny you ask, because now my youngest, Mary Frances, she always asks me, what did you do today? And if I tell her, what does that mean? Tell me about that. She has somewhat of an interest in that, and now she says she wants to be an orthodontist. So
okay.
We don't know. But I told her, I said, I'm gonna have to do the math here, but I may be done by that time.
Yeah. Game might be over by that time.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you something funny though, man. So I'm the same way, man. My oldest son, Ko. I always want him to, like, you know.
You told me that.
Yeah, one take over. But man, got a clean step of foot in here. So, but with that being said, you got more kids. I got more kids though. But what I'm saying is, a lot of time, man, we want that to happen, but a lot of time it don't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because kids like, nah, I own my own lane.
Right.
So
well, but back to, they've got to do what they've got to find out what they love and do that.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm not too worried about that. Yeah.
So. Yeah, that was funny though. Ain't working on about the mouth. Man, that's funny though, man. So, Doug, let me ask you this, man. Like, in terms of education, you know what I'm saying, continue education. Now, man, are you guys required to continue doing stuff every year?
Yeah, we do. We have to do so many hours of continuing education every year.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good stuff out there. A lot of stuff that really, there are a lot of hands-on things you can do, but the pandemic has caused everything to go online for right now, or a lot of it, which makes it easier to do. But it also, I don't think you get as much out of it as if you can put your hands on it and do it. But I think dentists in general, the whole profession, they do a good job, really good job of providing continuing ed, and dentists are most likely they're really into doing that because they want to get better. I mean, my colleagues are most dentists I know are same way I am, really concerned about doing things the right way.
Right.
So.
Right. So, Doug, let me ask this, man. What drives you daily? Because, again, you've been doing it, 15 years?
15 years.
So what continue driving you? I mean, I don't get me wrong, I know we got to pay bills. Other than that, man, what drives you daily to continue, making your brand stand out?
The people. I mean, the people I work with, I love going to work with the people I work with because I love working with a team. I mean, you love working with a team.
Right,
I mean, you grew up with team. I mean, you remember whether it been sports or anything, if you've got people on the same page and you're all working toward the same goal, there's just something gratifying about that, and not only just them, but people, meaning the patients, you know, just because a lot of people say a lot of nice things, are really appreciative of what you do.
Right.
And that
right.
when I get that feedback, that's what
That
drives
you,
me. You know, it's not so much growing the business. I mean, but like you said, that's part of it. But I think the people in general is
what gonna bring
and you know, I tell the girls at work all the time. I said this is the perfect business for me, because if I were sitting at a desk and had to do desk work, I mean, just to be honest, I'm not a self-starter as much. So I need somebody, and with dentistry, that go to that room.
Yeah.
Go to that,
yeah.
and I know I got to go to that room, or I'm
yeah.
gonna get behind. So it keeps me focused on working hard.
Yeah, we behind that desk ain't gonna get it.
So
man, that's so funny, Doug. So Doug, let me ask you this, man. If you had one thing to tell, you know, an inspiring entrepreneur, business owner, man, what would that be?
it would be to lean on other people. Okay. You know, find those people that have been down that road. And I've got a lot of guys in town that I've leaned on, other dentists over the years that have guided me and given me advice and that kind of thing. And just to lean on other people. If you need outside help, find those people, whether you have to hire them, you know, like a consultant or somebody that can help you work through those processes that you feel like are hiccups for you. And then, like I said before, hire the right people. Find the right people that you believe in, you trust, and that you let them, you let them do your job. I mean, you hear this, and you hear this I follow football just like you,
right? And
you hear about these coaches that are micromanagers, and they want to, but it really isn't his defense. You know, it's really it's the head coach. But you got to hire those people that you believe in enough to let them run the show and let them, in terms of their department or let them use their skills and let them do it. And you have to monitor that, but but
let them do the job, though.
And people feel, I feel like people feel empowered when you give them that responsibility to do what they know how to do, because that's why they work, and they want to grow and they want to succeed
and be successful. So, Doug, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I can tell you guys are family oriented over there. You know what I mean? I see a lot of pictures y'all post.
Right.
You know, a lot of times, man. You know, now I can see this stuff. I can tell when someone fakes a picture, fake a picture, or either being, you know what I'm saying, real about it, man. And you guys look like y'all have fun. And the time I visit, man, it looked like you guys have fun over there.
We do. And I told them when we came back from that 8 weeks we were out, I said, I really missed you, all of you.
Yeah.
Because, I wanted to get back to doing what I do, but I missed they are like my family or extended family, because we spend so much time together. I know their kids. I know what their kids do. I know what they like, what they don't like. You know what? I just know everything that's going on about them, and the same with them about me.
Right.
And so it just makes it for a good place to get up and go to work.
Go to work on it, man.
Right.
That's some good stuff. Doug, man, I really appreciate you coming through, man, sharing your story, man. Like I said, man, I didn't have no idea, man, that, the process you went through. And man, I know it's going to, change some listeners, lives, man, to understand that it's possible. We just got to trust that process. And it's so crazy, man, the way you continue talking about, building your team, building your team, trusting your people. It's so important, man. So I appreciate you coming out, big dog. Appreciate you, man. Everybody, man, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of KaneSaid. Man, y'all know my slogan, man. The fame is free, but the grind costs, baby. Yeah, zip 'em up.